The American Gangster, and a letter from a gangster's son. We that have grown up in the United States all know about the American gangsters. We've watched enough movies and documentaries to know how the mob operates. We know. In all those gangster movies and documentaries we've watched, we know what gangsters or wannabe gangster behaviors look like. A letter from a gangster's son. You don't choose the life, it chooses you. Growing up with a father like mine, you learn quick how to read a room, when to keep your mouth shut, and how to disappear when things get tense. You don't ask questions, you don't get answers. I remember the late night visits, the whispers, conversations behind closed doors, the scent of cigars and cologne mixing with something else, something heavier. When I was a kid, I thought my dad was a businessman. That's what he told me, and in a way, he was. But his business wasn't stocks and offices. It was power, fear, respect. I learned that respect wasn't about kindness. It was about control. I saw men look at my father with admiration, others with fear, and a few with hate. And I saw what happened to the ones who hated him too much. By the time I was 10, I knew what a favor really meant. By 15, I understood why certain people never came back around. By 18, I had a choice, step in or step away. Nobody really walks away, do they? Not when your last name carries a history. Not when every cop, every rival, every so-called friend knows who you are before you even say your first word. Some people say growing up in this life makes you strong. But strong ain't the word. It makes you cold. It makes you cautious. And most of all, it makes you wonder, was this ever really my life to live? Or was it already decided for me? Throughout history, organized crime syndicates have been responsible for some of the most heinous and ruthless acts of violence and corruption. These criminal organizations are often led by famous mobsters and gangsters, known for their brutal tactics and exploits. From Al Capone to John Gotti to Pablo Escobar, the world has seen its fair share of criminal masterminds. Here are a few of the most notorious famous mobsters and gangsters of all time. Boys in the Hood, Godfather 1 and 2, Goodfellas, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in America, The French Connection, The Untouchables, American Gangster, Kill Bill, Menace to Society, Gangs of New York, New Jack City, Kid Carter, Bugsy, Chinatown, Scarface, Tony Montana, Say Hello to My Little Friend, Bonnie and Clyde, John Dillinger. We know what gangsters look like. We know what gangsters sound like. We know how gangsters dress. We know gangsters' mannerisms. We know how gangsters organize. Whether they're local hoods or organized syndicates, we all know about the American gangster. What if you were a true mobster and you just happened to achieve the highest office in the land? What would you think about that? A real gangster in the highest office in the land to be commander-in-chief of our most powerful military in the world, whoever that person might be, and run the office like a real gangster organization, I think the world would be in a whole lot of hurt. Nothing good comes from being bad. Think about that. Nothing good comes from being bad. The American Gangster.